Winners don't make excuses. They make progress. While others are explaining why they couldn't, winners are showing how they did. Excuses are the language of limitation, but winners speak in action. They understand that every obstacle is not an endpoint, but a test of desire. When the odds stack high, they don't retreat. They dig deeper. Winners don't waste energy blaming others or whining about circumstances. They take full ownership of everything in their path. Life doesn't hand out trophies for good intentions. It rewards persistence, discipline, and execution. Every excuse is a brick in the wall between you and greatness. Winners break that wall. They don't have time for complaints because they're too busy building, too focused on climbing. They know that nothing worthwhile comes easy, and they embrace the grind. When others stop at difficulty, they start. Excuses are the comfort zone's anthem, but winners silence that noise with relentless forward motion. Your success doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to what you do. If you want to win, stop making excuses and start making history. You can't be both committed to your goals and committed to your excuses. One will always cancel out the other. Every time you say I can't, or it's not the right time, you're surrendering power to your fears. Winners strip away that weakness. They don't negotiate with procrastination. They don't wait for permission. They act with urgency because they know opportunities don't wait. Life is short, and winners refuse to waste it spinning stories about why they didn't try. Excuses feel good in the moment, but rot your potential in the long run. Winners live with the pressure of pursuit, not the pain of regret. They burn their excuses and use that fire to fuel their journey. If you're always finding reasons not to go all in, ask yourself, do you really want it, or do you just like the idea of it? Winners don't just want it, they're obsessed with it. They chase their vision like their life depends on it, because in a way it does. Excuses are cheap, excellence is earned. When the alarm clock rings, winners don't hit snooze, they rise. When pain strikes, they don't retreat, they push harder. When failure shows up, they don't hide, they learn. Because winners know that the world doesn't owe them anything. It only responds to the work they put in. They don't sit around hoping for a breakthrough, they create one. They understand that excuses are seductive, always whispering justifications into your ear. But winners reject that poison. They choose discipline over comfort. While others are binge-watching shows or scrolling endlessly, winners are investing those hours into progress. They train, they study, they sharpen their minds and bodies. Every excuse you make is a vote against your dream. Every step you take without excuse is a declaration of war against average. Winners are warriors. They know that showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, is what separates them from the rest. Don't let your excuses become your story. Burn them down, stand in the ashes, and build something stronger from it. People will give you 100 reasons why something can't be done. Winners don't listen. They don't need consensus to chase greatness. They don't need perfect conditions to start. They don't wait for the stars to align. They create their own light. The truth is, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Winners are not interested in excuses. They are interested in results. They don't waste time explaining to others why they failed. They'd rather use that energy to succeed. They understand that life's not fair, and that's exactly why they must be stronger, smarter, faster, and more relentless. Everyone has a reason to quit. Everyone has a story that justifies mediocrity. Winners simply refuse to accept it. They've made a decision that excuses will never be a part of their DNA. They've chosen to be accountable, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. They know growth lives on the edge of discomfort. Excuses are a detour. Winners stay on the main road, no matter how steep the climb. Winners understand that responsibility is their superpower. They don't deflect. They don't blame their upbringing, the economy, their boss, or their genetics. They own everything, success, failure, and everything in between. Excuses are a shield for the weak, but winners walk into battle exposed and fearless, ready to fight for what they want. That kind of courage doesn't come from luck. It comes from decision. A decision to never back down, to never let circumstances dictate the outcome. Winners understand that excuses build walls, and action builds bridges. So they build, brick by brick, day by day, until they've constructed a legacy. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They do it. They don't care about applause. They're not chasing followers. They're chasing fulfillment. Excuses might win in the short term, but winners dominate the long term. Their consistency drowns out doubt. Their effort eclipses fear. Excuses are easy. Excellence is earned. And winners will always choose the hard road because they know that's where greatness lives. It's not about being perfect. Winners mess up too. They fall. They fail. But what they don't do is quit. What they don't do is justify giving up. Every time they stumble, they get back up faster, stronger, and smarter. They don't nurse their wounds with excuses. They turn pain into power. That's what separates them from the rest. When others fall, they stay down. They rationalize it. It wasn't meant to be. I wasn't good enough. Winners reject that narrative. They write their own. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Winners understand that the road to success is paved with failures, and each one is a lesson, not an excuse. They don't dwell on mistakes. They dissect them, learn from them, and move on. You won't find a winner wallowing in self-pity. You'll find them grinding in silence, preparing for their next move. Excuses are emotional crutches. Winners walk without them. They know progress doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in pressure, in adversity, in the heat of battle. Winners are allergic to the victim mindset. They refuse to be defined by circumstances. They don't see life as something happening to them. They see it as something happening for them. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every hardship is a lesson in disguise. While the world screams for sympathy, winners roar with strength. They don't need a handout. They don't beg for validation. They build their worth through action. Excuses are often dressed up as reasons, but winners see through that disguise. They recognize self-sabotage in all its forms and shut it down before it takes root. They practice radical honesty with themselves and with the world. If they fall short, they own it. If they're afraid, they confront it. If they're unprepared, they improve. They don't mask flaws with excuses. They fix them with effort. That's what makes them unstoppable. Not talent, not luck, just relentless accountability. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take full control of your destiny. That's when you become a winner, not in name, but in truth. Some people wait for motivation. Winners generate it. They don't rely on feelings to guide their actions. They rely on principles. If they say they'll do something, they do it. Period. No rain check. No excuses. Winners live by the code of commitment. They show up on days they don't feel like it. They push when it hurts. They continue when there's no applause. Why? Because they're not chasing convenience. They're chasing greatness. And greatness demands sacrifice. It demands grit. Winners know this, and they accept it. They embrace the pain, because they know what's on the other side is worth it. Excuses are seductive, because they offer temporary relief. Winners trade that relief for long-term reward. They don't want easy. They want meaningful. Every time you push past an excuse, you strengthen your discipline. And discipline is the currency of success. Winners spend it daily. No shortcuts, no exceptions. The question is not, can you? The question is, will you stop making excuses long enough to find out? The difference between winning and wishing lies in what you do when it gets hard. Anybody can act inspired when the sun is shining and the road is smooth. But winners thrive in storms. They don't run from pressure. They rise with it. They understand that discomfort is the training ground for champions. Excuses are the easy exit signs along the path. But winners keep walking. No matter the weather, no matter the weight, they trust the process. They trust themselves. Every time they choose effort over excuse, they sharpen them. And when the moment comes to rise, to really rise, they're ready. Because they've been preparing in the shadows. They've been bleeding when no one was watching. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Success is boring. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. But winners do it anyway, over and over. That's why they win. Not because they never fail, but because they never stop. Excuses are the depth of momentum. Winners don't just fight through, they break through, every single time. In the end, you will either have results or excuses, but never both. Excuses won't get you stronger. They won't put food on your table, or pride in your heart. They won't build your legacy, or move you 1 inch closer to your dream. Only action can do that. Only discipline, only relentless effort. Winners know this. That's why they treat every excuse like a virus, something to be identified, eliminated, and never entertained. They live with purpose, not pity. They seek solutions, not sympathy. They measure progress, not problems. They are laser focused on what they can control, and they let go of what they can't. That's their edge. That's their power. Excuses are loud. Winners are louder, not with words, but with results, with resilience, with repetition. If you want to win in life, you must destroy every excuse that stands between you and your purpose. Burn the fallback plan, shatter the comfort zone, and step into the arena like you were born for it. Because you were. Winners don't make excuses. They make history.